All right.
Okay, we have Danielle here. We just wrapped up a recording that's going to go live on the podcast in December. We were chatting all about New Year, New You, and you've been chatting about boobs on social media for a while. So I thought it'd be fun to just talk about our breasts for a while because we don't really talk about breasts and they really need to be talked about. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like breast cancer is an all-time high, and I feel like nobody talks about boobs. It's crazy.
Yes. So how did this come about? Like, what got you interested in your breasts recently?
So a while back, I was just like, oh, I'm so tired of wearing bras. I want to go braless. And then I started doing more research on detoxing your breasts and, how toxic bras are. And then, sadly enough, because I'm in my mid 30s now, and, as hormones fluctuate, as we're, reaching the end years of baby making, I ended up with a cyst in my left breast, and it's hormonal completely. So when I'm on my cycle is when it's the most painful. And so I was just like, oh man, I really need to get ahead of this. I need to do something about this. And so I started really getting deep into, armpit detoxes and even just like detoxifying the mammary tissue itself and just like kind of researching how this all comes about. I got really obsessed with it. So.
Yeah, you did. And I followed a lot of the things that you did because, oh my gosh. I mean, you don't think, I started doing a lot of research myself about bras, and was it your blog post that you were saying, was it yours where somebody was washing their bra and they passed out after washing it?
Yeah.
That? What happened and the story behind that?
Yeah. So one of my really close friends, she was, the only bras she had were breastfeeding bras. And she's like, well, I'm not breastfeeding my son anymore. I'm going to do my feet, and I'm going to go buy some bras that make me feel sexy. And so she went to Victoria's Secret, as most people in the country do, but she has, hadn't bought a bra since she had gone non-toxic. Right. So she forgot to kind of just like, it didn't, it was just kind of like muscle memory. It's like, no, I'm going to go to Victoria's Secret and buy a bra. Except then she realized she was part of this non-toxic world. And so she hand washes her stuff now. And so she hand washed this Victoria's Secret bra, and the fumes made her vomit and almost pass out. And she said it was just, she couldn't believe it. But most people don't know because they put their bras in those special little baggies in the washer. They don't actually hand wash them. And so we were talking about this over coffee, and I was just like, holy crap, Renee, like this is bad. And she's like, this is really bad. So she threw them away. And then of course she went out and she, we both did a ton of research on what bras you can buy and what companies are out there, actually giving a crap about you. But a majority of the companies out there buying bras are putting really bad stuff in your bras.
Like really bad stuff. So really bad stuff. What companies did you find out were actually pretty good?
Boody, Boody, they're actually a bamboo company out of Australia. And so I'm a minimalist traveler, and I use their undies and their bras when I travel because they're super easy to wash in the sink, and they're moisture wicking, and they're really, really comfortable. And there's tons of others that are, but what you want to look for is organic material. And Naha is another one. They're a Colombian company. They just launched their organic line. But the problem is for the larger busted community. What we don't know is that you don't actually need underwire to support your bras, because underwires, I'm just like going off on a whole tangent now because
do it. Tangent away.
Unlocked Pandora's box, but underwires are horrible, absolutely horrible, because the under part of the breast is where a lot of our detoxification happens. That's where our sweat comes out, right? Those where a lot of our sweat glands are, our lymph tissue is. And so we are trapping that. Those underwires are essentially trapping that toxin and forcing it back into the breast. And people are like, well, I don't get rashes, or I don't have, any sort of like yeast collecting there or anything, but you don't have to. You don't have to be symptomatic to have this toxin recirculate back into the body. And so these underwires essentially are just like trapping that, not only that lymph tissue from detoxing, but also circulating. And so, yeah, so I'm totally 100% against underwires. If a sports bra is too tight, don't even think about it, because then you're sweating and trapping it back in the body. And so honestly, just like really doing your research on bra companies that are really care about your breast health, or else, that is going to be a large contributor to if your health fails in that area, unfortunately.
And I know, so when we moved into the RV, I decided not to bring any of my bras with me, and I have one sports bra. And then it got to the point where I was sick of that sports bra. So I just started going braless in January of 2018. And now it's like, I rarely wear a bra. Like, and I've actually had people comment to my face, like, you should put a bra on, because when you don't wear a bra, your nipples show. Like, there's no way to stop that. And I'm totally unapologetic and will explain to them why I've chosen to go braless. But a lot of people have misconceptions around the fact that if you don't wear a bra, then your breast tissue gets really loosey-goosey and it's actually really unhealthy for you. Through your research, did you come to any conclusions on that?
Yeah, that's a bunch of BS, because the reality is we have muscle underneath our mammary tissue. And so the less bras we wear, the stronger our breasts are going to get, which, by the way, I'm not wearing a bra right now either.
Me neither.
And my nipples are out all over my website because I just don't care. That's the thing, is like, nipples are nipples. We all have them. Literally every single human on the planet has a nipple, unless they, for some reason. But, that's the thing, is like, this muscle tissue is actually designed to strengthen the breast. And so we will become perkier. And if you're worried about the perkiness, you can strengthen the muscle in your pectoral area as well. And so this is the thing, is like, it's just like dieting. We have been subliminally programmed that we need to be in these bondage contraptions in order to be a woman. But the reality is that we're a woman when we wake up naked in the morning. So why would you be more of a woman when you put a bra on that could potentially give you breast cancer? Just saying.
Amen, sister. What about deodorant? Because you mentioned deodorant just a touch, and I've never worn regular deodorant. My mom was like a hippie at heart and always used the crystal stuff for her deodorant, and that's just how I grew up. And I've finally convinced Kevin not to use deodorant. He just refuses to use any now. So, I mean, that's cool. We live on a boat, so nobody really smells them ever. But like, what are your thoughts on deodorant, and how does this all tie in?
Yeah. So the thing is if we're constantly putting the chemicals, because most deodorant is very heavily chemically laden, and there's a lot of aluminums in there. What aluminum does, I mean, it not only contributes to heavy metal toxicity in the body, but then also can contribute to neurological disorders like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. And that is a direct line. I mean, our lymph in our armpits is very, very, very delicate. It is actually one of our first signs of distress in the body, and liver distress. So specifically, if we have a higher scent, that means that we possibly have blood sugar regulation issues, or we do have something going on in the body that could be toxic, or in our liver specifically. And so it's one of our warning signs. So if we're covering that up with junk every day, then we can be potentially, missing these kind of subtle alarm systems we have in the body. And so this really absorbent area that is supposed to help our breasts detoxify, and we're putting that crap on and in it every day, that's another thing that can be contributing to breast cancer and any sort of like malignancy in our breast health. And so we have to think about, we have this toxic bra that traps in our sweat, and then we're putting these chemicals in our armpits every day. And so if you have that gene and you are prone to breast cancer, you shouldn't be doing either of those things. And I hate to use the word should, but I can't stress enough how important it is to make sure that you are using a natural deodorant that doesn't have any additives or preservatives in it, or none at all. Maybe you can armpit detox once a week. I mean, we put face masks on once a week. And so maybe you put a little bentonite clay in your armpit once a week. So that's the thing, is that there are ways to be healthy, not just inside of our guts, which everyone's always paying attention to, we have to pay attention to our other parts as well.
I love the idea of the bentonite clay. I actually have a bunch of it in my closet and I didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
I'm doing an armpit thing this week.
A little bit of it in your smoothie. Go crazy.
Oh my gosh, that's so smart. Yeah, I just make my own deodorant. I've been making my own deodorant for like a really long time. I just use baking soda and coconut oil and essential oil, and I think that's it.
That's all you need.
Yeah, and the batch lasts like years. I still have the same batch I made like 4 years ago. It lasts forever. Well, thanks so much for talking about boobs with us. It's something that I really, really love. And thanks for going braless, because you were the one that kind of encouraged me of like, hey, wait, Danielle's doing this braless thing. I can do this. And I love it. Like at first it's uncomfortable at first, but you're right. The perkiness, like they no longer sit as low as they did. And it feels like if I have to wear a bra, oh my gosh, it is the worst day.
It is the worst. I hate it. And it's really just a formality. You know, it's like, okay, someone's going to get offended today, but then you just stop. So
yep, it's true. Amazing. Well, thanks so much for coming on. I know our Keto Unlimited members really appreciate it. And we'll include links to all the things we chatted about below this video.
Thanks, Leanne.